Yep.
Got it.
All right, welcome back to the MeMyddleton show. And today's guest is known as the problem solver. She focuses on solutions, not excuses. She empowers people to believe in themselves and to think positive about their abilities and what they can accomplish in life. This native Chicagoan received her degree from the University of Michigan and is currently a licensed clinical social worker. While working in the healthcare field, she assists patients and families with hospital medical trauma and mental health issues. She provides comprehensive assessments, consultations for emotional support, and community referrals based on the individual's needs. An entertaining and dynamic speaker, author, and coach, my guest delivers useful information that will help you to improve your life and move forward. She has spoken on topics such as dementia, women empowerment, and positive mental attitude. She has counseled and coached adults to look at life in a positive manner. MeMyddleton Show fans, please welcome Miss Linda Buckley. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Evina. Thank you for having me on your show today. I really appreciate you.
I am excited to have you on the show. I am excited to talk about all things Linda Buckley. Let's get started. So,
all right.
You and I met at Toastmasters.
Yes, we did at Toastmasters.
We are both members of the international organization called Toastmasters, which is an international club for helping you develop your public speaking and leadership skills. And the very first person I met at the Toastmasters Club was Miss Linda Buckley. But I want to know, tell us how you got started at Toastmasters and why you even joined Toastmasters.
Well, Evina, I'm going to tell you, it started back about 10 years ago when I really wanted to improve my speaking skills. I was so nervous and scared of speaking in front of a group or just really one-on-one. I was just so quiet that I did not want to be in a crowd or speak to anyone. And I knew I wanted to get over this. So what I had heard of Toastmasters in the past, but never really thought about joining Toastmasters. And then one day, the education director at my job had put up some signs and said that they were going to start a Toastmasters club. And I was very interested in attending that club. So they had a demonstration meeting. And they put on that demonstration meeting. They had 2 speakers and they had table topics. Now, these speakers to me were like professional speakers. They appeared to be professional. And the people that answered the table topics questions, they were awesome. And after the meeting, I went up to them and asked them if I would be able to do a table topic question like the girl had did in the meeting. And she told me if I joined Toastmasters, she said, yes, I would be able to speak like that. And so I said, sign me up because I want to get rid of this fear of public speaking. And she signed me up. And then probably about 2 months later, we started our very own club at the hospital where I was working at the time. And I've been in Toastmasters ever since. And I must say, it has been so rewarding. It has helped me to grow, get out of my comfort zone, and to step out and speak. It helps me to gain confidence in myself. Man, oh man, I really enjoyed the confidence that I gained in myself. At first, I didn't think I could do it. At first, I didn't think I would be able to speak like those other people, but I kept on going and practicing. And today, I must say that I can also speak in public without being afraid now. and I can speak one-on-one and in a crowd, and I thoroughly enjoy it. That's how I got started in Toastmasters, Evina.
So what year was that when you started?
It was in 1990, I think like 97.
Wow, I wish I started Toastmasters in 1997. 1997, I was buck wild going to Freaknik. Boy, what were those strong moves? Man, I wish, coming from an entertainment world and coming from a performing arts school, that would have been totally up my alley. Oh my goodness. But the life's journey was as it was, and I'm blessed that I joined when I did, because you were the very first person I met. And in that club meeting, I remember the agenda was like it was a speechathon.
Okay.
We were doing a speechathon at that club, and it was so many people going up there to speak and had their prepared speeches, and I was like this the whole time. Like, wow, I want to do that.
All right.
And I heard you and so many other people speak that night. And first night I was ready. I was like, I can't wait to get my money. I'm gonna join Toastmasters. So today you are a DTM. Tell us what a DTM is and what does that mean? And also tell us some of your positions that you currently hold and have held in Toastmasters.
A DTM is the Distinguished Toastmasters, and that's the highest award you can get while being in Toastmasters. They have several different levels of Toastmasters that you can get while you're in Toastmasters. As long as I've been in Toastmasters, I have been the president, the vice president of education, vice president of membership, which is my favorite, the treasurer, secretary, sergeant at arms, and VP of public relations. I have been in every position in the club. Yes.
Yeah, that's I'm looking like, that's all 7, right? Yeah,
Yes.
you've been every position as a club officer. Wow. And I know that definitely helped prepare you in your leadership skills.
Yes, it has, because I've been president at least 3 times, VP of education at least 3 to 4 times. And each time when you're in those positions, you are in a leadership role, and you do have roles and responsibilities, and people are looking up to you. And inside you might feel that you're not doing a good job, or you're not leading people in the way they should go. But in actuality, you know a lot more than you feel that you know. And you do lead people in the correct manner. So that's what I had been told. And people do like my leadership style. My leadership style is a little direct at times, but it is direct, but with compassion. Because I know when you work with people, you have to have compassion. And I work with people in a direct style, but with compassion. And
that is definitely the truth. Yes,
taught me that. Mm-hmm.
That is definitely the truth. I've seen you in action. I think when I joined, you was VP of membership, and you signed me up so quick, my head spun a little bit, but it was kind of happily. And I've held, and I think when I had my very first club officer role, which was secretary, I think that was you that encouraged me to be a secretary. And then fast forward some years later, I ended up being vice president of education. That was really rewarding, but I got my feet wet as a secretary, and I truly enjoyed that. So aren't you members of more than one club?
Yes, I am. I am a member of at least 3 clubs. The Toastmasters of Centerville, the Real Toastmasters of Tucker, Toastmasters of Snellville, and North Gwinnett Advanced Toastmasters. Whoa. 4 different clubs.
Whoa, that's dedication. That's a lot. And it shows in the way you speak too, Linda. I can tell when you speak, you take your time, you think about what you're going to say. where's the crutch words? I rarely hear those crutch words. You are an amazing speaker, and it led you into your business. But before we get into that, I want to go backwards and start in the beginning. So when you moved to Atlanta, that's where you met your husband.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? How did you meet him?
Okay. Well, I moved here with a girlfriend that was from Chicago, and I was going to school in Michigan, and I would come down on spring break and other breaks. And I told her if she stayed here in Atlanta, that when I got out of school, I would come to Atlanta because I'm from Chicago, a native of Chicago. Well, I came to Atlanta. We got an apartment together, and I was here about a year or a year and a half. And then one day I was going over to the bank, and this guy would start flirting with me at the bank. I was going to the ATM machine, and he said that I should get him some money out of the ATM machine. And I told him I don't have his ATM card, so I couldn't get him any money. And so we stood there talking for about an hour. And then he asked me for my phone number. And he said, "Is this the correct number?" I said, "Well, you have to call me to find out for sure."
Aw.
And that's how I met him.
Oh, that is cute. I like that. That is funny. I like that. That is a cute story. So what I want to know, and so how long have you been married to your husband?
We've been married now for 18 years.
Oh, wow. God bless your union. That's wonderful. Yeah, we don't hear them kind of numbers these days, but
Okay.
that is a blessing. Congratulations and more blessings to your union.
Thank you.
So I want to go back even a little further. Well, I don't know where this time period is, but this is the question, because as you know, here on the MeMyddleton show, we're all about spirituality, magic, naturopathy, and the occult. So I want to know, did you have an awakening story into spirituality, and what was that like?
Well, I had an awakening story when I came here to Atlanta, and I attended a non-denominational church. It was a metaphysical church, and I had never attended a metaphysical church. And at the metaphysical church, they believe in all things spiritual, more so. They do have a Bible, but it's not the King James Bible. Hopefully the name will come to me and I can tell you the name of the Bible that they use. But it was translated through the Hebrew language, because the minister that talked to us said it was the language where it was transferred from the Hebrew language. They didn't have words like we have today for everything. So some of the translations in the Bible are not made up, but they left some things out, but they truly don't mean what we think they mean, because we gave them different meanings.
That's true.
And so going to this metaphysical church, I've learned a lot about spirituality, and they had different modalities of spirituality, like meditation, doing chakras, going within, Reiki. Let's see, what else? Wow. They did Reiki, meditation, herbs.
Wow.
And then some other things that I just can't come on the top of my tongue right now.
So you became attracted to that. How did you feel versus, okay, wait a minute. Your background growing up, did you grow up Christian or some other religion?
I grew up Christian, but I attended so many different churches because we grew to the Catholic school. When I was in Catholic school, I thought I was a Catholic because I went to Catholic school. So I told everybody I was Catholic. Then my mother went to the Methodist church. So I went to the Methodist church with her. Then the lady next door went to the Baptist church, so I went to the Baptist church with her. And the other lady on the other side of me went to the Pentecostal church, so I went to Pentecostal church with her. And then I did go to a Muslim church once because I was just invited to go to. And I, thoroughly enjoyed it because they all were different. Each and every one was totally different. And then when I came to Atlanta, I went to the Metaphysical CHURCH, which is non-denominational, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Wow. I mean, I remember we spoke before, and as I mentioned before, we've known each other now for some years through Toastmasters, and you spoke to me before about the Metaphysical CHURCH, and I'm still in awe. I want to check it out one day if my schedule just let me just have a breather. I just want to check this church out because I personally have before you, I've never heard of a metaphysical church that utilizes these different modalities that in regular church is forbidden. Like that's some voodoo devilment. You're not supposed to use herbs and Reiki and chakras and meditation. Although moment of silence is nothing more than meditation. Although when they say, waiting for God to send you the message, in order for you to get the message, you got to be quiet and be still and meditate to receive and hear the message. I don't know. Church has always been kind of strange for me.
And then they also taught us that God's not up in the sky. He's within you. He's not like in the sky. You're looking around.
Church teaches that. It's amazing because I was taught that this old ancient white guys in the sky looking down at us and ready to deem us to hell if we do any other sins.
That's what I was taught too.
And always needed money.
Right.
I don't know how to toss money up in the sky, but I never understood how he got the money either. But wow, that is very interesting and amazing. So what would you classify yourself as? Are you a spiritualist?
I'll say spiritual. Yeah, spiritualist.
So do you utilize any of those metaphysical practices? Do you use Reiki? Do you use any divination tools? Do you utilize any of those different things?
Yes, I do. I do utilize Reiki. I utilize readings. I utilize some of the herbs and the chakras. I utilize meditation. I utilize the reading of the cards. Yes. And I utilize those things because I believe they do help me in life. And they can point out things in life that I need to know, or some of the things that I may be seeking at the time.
And how long have you been utilizing these things or practicing in this way?
It has been about, I want to say about 8 years, at least 8 years.
Oh, wow. That is wonderful. Okay. So, and congratulations with that too, by the way. That is amazing. That is great. I just want to come over to your house one day and get a reading from you. I just want to see your tarot skills.
Okay.
We could trade off tarot skills.
All right. You can come on over.
Do you use a pendulum too?
I don't, but I can learn how to.
Man, I would be more than happy to show you how to use the pendulum.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
Yes. It's quick, easy answer, quick tool that you could carry around in your pocket. And if you ever needed an answer to something, just pull it out and just get a yes or no answer. Oh, okay. And then go about your business.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll be more than glad to show you that.
Oh, that'd be nice.
So as I was looking into your bio, marathon runner, and I do remember hearing you give speeches about your adventures in marathon running, but I want you to tell the MeMyddleton show fans, how did you get into that?
Well, when I came to Georgia, I was watching TV, and it was one of the 4th of July I saw all these people lining up Peachtree Road, doing this race called the Peachtree Road Race. It was a lot of people out there. And I was fascinated by that. I'm like, wow, why are these people out there running? And then they said, this is the well-known yearly annual Peachtree Road Race. And we have 50,000 people out here today running. I'm like, man, those people crazy. Ain't nobody be running out there as hot as it is. So I think I watched it twice, every 2 years in a row. And then I was talking to a friend at work, and she said she runs, and she was running in the Peachtree Road Race. And I just kept talking to her, and I said, wow, that would be something interesting for me to do. So I started running in the Peachtree Road Race. I started in 2000. Wow. And in 2000, I ran my first Peachtree Road Race. And it was so much fun. It was so exciting. And the energy that was there, it was just amazing. And it's like, wow, I never knew running could be so much fun, and the energy from the people, and then so many people participating in this road race. And I had gotten excited, and I was telling everybody, you just have to do the Peachtree Road Race. If you never do any race in your life, the Peachtree Road Race is the one that you should do. You just do it one time. That's all I'm asking, to do it one time. Because I think if you do it one time, you're gonna get hooked. Because I got hooked that first time. And every year, I always have somebody new with me each and every year. And every year they get excited, and sometimes they continue, then sometimes they won't. But the first person that I had, her name was Donna, and she did the Peachtree Road Race with me. But she was going to do it the second year, but she got pregnant. So she couldn't do the Peachtree Road Race. So that second year, I did it by myself. But then the third year, she was raising her baby, but then it was other girl, Makisha. We trained together, and we ran the Peachtree Road Race together. And since that year, Makisha has been doing the Peachtree Road Race ever since. Now she brings her kids with her, and then she brings other friends with her. And every year I have somebody new doing the Peachtree Road Race with me. This year we did it virtual. So we went over to Stone Mountain Park, and I had some new people with me at Stone Mountain Park, and we did the race at the park, and we sent in our times. And then they sent us our t-shirts, our numbers, and our medals. But I will tell anyone, if they want to do any race, do the Peachtree Road Race. That's the best race you can ever do. And from doing the Peachtree Road Race, I started doing other races, and I did my first marathon. Usually you do a half marathon first, but I did a full marathon. And at that time, I was trained. I wanted to know how to run a marathon, because a marathon is 26.2 miles. That's a long way to be running. And so it was this group called Team in Training, and they would train you to do marathons. And so on Saturdays, we would go out in different areas, and we would have our long runs. And they told me, they say that when you get up to 10 miles, you're gonna think 10 miles is a breeze. And I said to myself, I can't even do 5 miles and think it's a breeze. But the more you practice, the better you become. And when we did that 10 miles, it was a breeze. It truly was a breeze, because you have so much practice under your skin that, you know, you can do it. It just takes practice, and it just takes determination, but you can do it. And we trained for about 12 weeks. And then we went on to do our marathon. And the very first marathon that I did was in Nashville, Tennessee. That was the Country Music Marathon. And the Country Music Marathon was exciting, because at each mile they had a different country band playing. And the music would get you pepped up and get you going. And it was just so many people out there. The people would encourage you to keep going and going. And they had signs up and they would call your numbers out and say, yeah, go, good job. Yeah, keep on running. You're going to make it to the finish line. At every mile, it was some kind of music playing and you get a burst of energy and you just keep on going. And that was 26.2 miles at Nashville, Tennessee. And then my next year, I signed up again. You know, I was saying, I'm going to do all this training. I want to go somewhere nice, somewhere where I haven't been before. And so my second marathon was in Alaska. And I said, yes, I went to Alaska to do a marathon. I never thought I would go to Alaska, but yes, I did. They were having the Bears Midnight Run was in Alaska. And boy, we had a nice time over in Alaska. Now they had these things over in Alaska called reindeer dogs, made from reindeer. They like hot dogs, but they call them reindeer dogs. So when you go to Alaska, you're gonna get some reindeer dogs. But the other thing about Alaska is they have 6 months of daylight and it only get dusk dark over there. And then, because we stayed up that night, well, it was nighttime, but it felt like it was day. And the time kept going on and on and on. And then it was like, man, I'm getting tired, but it was still daylight outside. And I looked at my watch, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I say, that's why I'm tired. And the stores stay open. As long as it's daylight, the stores are open. So you can go to the store any time of day, 12 o'clock at night, midnight, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You can go to stores and they're always open. And that was a learning experience for me.
Yeah.
Yes, and they have a lot of them have the curtains that are really blacked out curtains to assimilate nighttime for them.
Right.
And that was my second. And then the third marathon I did was in Bermuda. Bermuda was gorgeous. We were right there by the water. And the houses in Bermuda are like pink, green, yellow, lime. They were gorgeous. And we ran right there by the water. And what I liked about Bermuda is that they had published our names and our numbers in the newspaper. And as we ran, people would look your name and number up, and then they would call out your name. And several people called out my name. Linda, good job. Keep going.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
That really inspired me to keep going because I was like, wow, they know my name. They know my name. They call my name.
Famous.
Yes.
That is wonderful. Okay.
Yes. And I completed all of those 26.2 miles. And when you're getting down to the end of those miles, you're looking for the finish line. You're looking for the finish line. And everybody said, oh, it's not that far. It's right around the corner. Right around the corner. You keep going around that corner. You say, I've been around this corner. Where is the end?
Wow.
Eventually you come to the end. It is fantastic. I mean, it is fantastic. It is a great feeling once you finish. Once you start, when you're out there, you like, why did I do this? Why am I signed up for this? I'm the only crazy person out here, but you're not. You just keep on going and you keep on going. And it is very rewarding. It really is. Once you accomplish that and you cross that finish line and you know you've done the 26.2 miles, it's just something that it just stays with you. It is fantastic, a fantastic feeling. It's hard to describe exactly how it feels, but it is fantastic. It is fantastic.
So tying into what you just described, which I think is the most dynamic thing I've ever heard. You're the only person I know personally who has done marathon races. I think that's amazing. I get tired looking at them. I think that's amazing. But tying into what you just described, for the next few weeks and previous weeks, I am focusing a lot on the mind. And when it comes to spirituality and magic and naturopathy and the occult, I mean, even in regular mundane life, the mind, mental health is extremely important. But imagine someone who is not of a good mental state practicing magic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really my focus, is to really talk about mental health and mental wellness. And not just as so far as mental health, like dealing with like disabilities and other diseases or things of that nature, but just people who generally have good mental health, to maintain it or to even improve mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and how to change one's mindset. And that, what you just described, takes an extreme amount of mental wellness. What was it like in your mind? Can you describe what is it like in your mind to have that motivation, to have that determination to run 26.5 miles, not just one time, but more than one time? Can you describe what does it take in your mind to accomplish something like that?
Well, first you have to tell yourself this is what you want to do. This is really what you want to do. And then you put yourself in a state of mind that I made the commitment, so there's no backing out on this commitment, because I am going to complete this journey no matter what the obstacles are. And you also, when you're in that frame of mind, you get around other people that are in that frame of mind also, so they can encourage you and lift you up, especially on the days that you do not want to be out there running. And there are days when you're going to get like that, but with that encouragement, and then you made your commitment. And I say, when people make a commitment like that, put it down on paper, write it out, because then you can look at it every day. What I usually do is put it on my mirror, so that when I get up in the morning and I put it on the mirror, I know that I'm going to do some running on today. And that really helps me and get my mindset right, no matter how I am feeling. And then that's part of the mindset, because your mind will want you to stay in the comfort zone and not do what you want to do. But you have to train your mind to really move forward, because there's going to be days when you don't want to move forward, but you have a buddy or somebody from your group give you a call and say, let's go, we're running today, but it's raining. So what? We still have to run today. It's cold. So what? We still have to run today. And when you have those people around you, those people can help you continue on your journey, even though you made your mind up. And sometimes if you're by yourself, you might want to just stay inside. But when you have somebody else depending on you or looking after you, or going to call you, going to ask you, did you run? You're more apt to go ahead and do that. So
Do
it's
you
a
think you would have
mindset.
been able to do those things had you not had an accountability partner?
No, I would have been able to do it, but then there would have been a lot of missed days. Days that, well, I just don't feel like it. I'm too sore. I'm too tired. I don't want to, or it's raining, or it's cold. And then I would allow myself to get back into the comfort zone and not do what I had to do. But when somebody else's account I'm accountable to, then I want to step it up. I don't want to fall back. And that helps my mindset also. That helps me keep in that state of mind that I'm going to do it no matter what.
So you being the problem solver, I love that title, because I have witnessed your powers and solving problems. And it comes to you so naturally. I'm just simply amazed at how you like, someone comes to you, hey Linda, I have this problem. How can I do ABC, XYZ? Oh, that's not a problem. DEFGHIJKLMNNOP. And it's like, wow, she come up with that just like that. And if that don't work, we could QRSTUV and call me back later and let me know how that works. And it's like, wow, it just comes so naturally to you. And as I'm reading through your bio, you have, I guess, basically have been through a lot of training and doing that as a clinical social worker and working in a hospital. I know you definitely deal with a lot of issues that deals in sadnesses and negativity on some level, traumas, illnesses, mental disabilities, and things of that nature. So how do you keep your mind healthy while you went through all of these different things and helping different clients and patients as a clinical social worker?
The way I keep my mind clear is I do marathons. I run, because running really helps you to clear out what's going on inside of you. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of devotional reading, and that really, really gets me a peace of mind. And when I'm working with someone at the hospital, I always kind of try to reflect on, they have an issue at this time. They may get angry, upset with me because things are not going to come out the way they would like to. And that's not my issue. That's their issue. So they have to deal with that in the best way that they know how. And then after I finish working with them, I like go inside and I meditate and release all the negative energy that I have gotten from them. And I put myself in a state of mind that I'm there to help them solve their issue in a way that will be beneficial, or in a way that I know that will help them. And sometimes I can help them. Sometimes the outcome is not what they wanted, but it is an outcome. And we just walk through the process, and I help them through to the end to get some kind of resolution. And the resolution that we come up with it through an agreement. And I give them all the facts that I have and all the information that I have, so they can make an informed decision as to whatever the issue is. But I let them go ahead and do what they need to do. And then after it's over, I go ahead and debrief myself and let all of that go. And then I just exercise, or I meditate, or just clear out my space so that I can help the next person that I see. That's how I kind of keep myself going.
So with all of your years of, how long have you been a clinical social worker?
I guess about 25 years.
That is some extreme training. I would have quit 25 days, let alone 25 years. That takes a lot of mental health,
yes,
individual health, and maintaining that mental health. And I know you find reward in when you help people, and it really does help these individuals. Because being in a hospital under any capacity is never fun. Even for checkups, no one wants to really go through checkups. No one really wants to go through checkups. Getting pricked with a needle to get your blood examined, or having a pap smear, or
right.
Even an eye exam, having it covered up and you're guessing what you're looking at and it's not right. And then let alone those more serious checkups or just serious hospitalizations or emergency. The hospital is never fun.
Right.
So to be able to help the patients and their families through through their situations for all of these years, I want to personally tell you, thank you for being that person in our community to do that.
Well, you're
That
welcome.
is wonderful. Hands down to you. So with the experiences that you've had on the job as a clinical social worker, and being a member of Toastmasters, and being a metaphysician as a spiritualist, all of that came together and you became an entertainer and dynamic speaker, author, and coach. Why did you thought that doing that was a good idea? What made you say, I want to be a public speaker? Because it's one thing to be like, I just want to conquer my fear of speaking and being in front of the public, versus a whole career, and then being an author, and then coaching people. What made you say, I want to do that?
Well, because of the amount of information that I learned. And when I was just helping people and learning new information, I felt that I had a niche where I could also teach people with public speaking. Because a lot of times when people come to the hospital, that's their first time being in the hospital. And when they do come, they're really stressed out about it. And it's like, and if you've never been in that situation, you really don't have an idea or clue what goes on in a hospital, because the ideas that they give us on TV are just totally different from what actually happens in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having information that I was learning that people needed to know. And people did not know some of the information that they needed when they came to the hospital, because they was like, oh, they're supposed to get treated because they're here. They didn't know anything about the insurance. They didn't know anything about the advance directives. They didn't know anything about medical power of attorney. They didn't know any of that information. And so I said, well, I need to talk about those things and let them know, because the lay person that's never been to the hospital will need to know this information, even on down the line, and working with their family members and friends. That's why I chose to be a public speaker, to get that information out. And then I had so much information that I said, well, I could put this information in a book, and other people just could pick the book up and read about what I had learned. And when I did that, that's when my book came about, Problem Solved.
You have your book?
Yes, I do.
Ah, yay. Oh, I love it. And what a nice picture. Ladies and gentlemen, please pick up your copy of Problem Solved. I will have the links available for you in the description, so you can pick up your book. This book is especially helpful for when you need to go to the hospital, or if you have a loved one in the hospital and these unexpected things. Linda solves those problems. Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Linda. So you wrote the book, you talk about it in your public speaking. So where does coaching come into play?
Coaching come into play when I was working with different families, and people wanted to know how to navigate through their own life, because they were having places where they were getting stuck. They sometimes wouldn't be in the right mindset, and they didn't have the tools to really move through life. So I started coaching people. And when I started coaching them, I just started out with something very simple. Someone wanted to be on an exercise program, and I just coached them through that exercise program, because you think that everybody know what to need to do and how they need to do it. But there's a lot of education that goes on when you're doing coaching, because people don't know, where to start, how to start, or what they need to put in place in order to reach their end goal. And I started just coaching a group of women. I started with a group of women, and we would exercise on the weekends, and we would have classes about our mental health, our physical health, and just our well-being. And once I set those classes up, they started just to grow. And people were interested in really the mindset, sticking with the program, moving forward in life. And so, since they were doing it for exercises, I told them they could do it in other areas of their life. And they didn't realize that. I said, yes, it's all connected. Every area of your life. Once you get the mind right and you get it in a state where you can look at yourself and see what's going on, and even sometimes maybe have someone help you look at what's going on to put you on the right track. And so that's what I usually would do, would help them, put them on the right track, and then they would continue. And then if they get stuck, they would come back and we would go through the process again or see what was going on. And then we would continue on the same track, or maybe we have to change it a little bit. And I told them change is okay because that's natural. And because sometimes they get stuck and say they didn't want to change. But I said, look, it's not working. We just can't stay here. And they didn't realize that. And so we put some things together, put some things in place so that they could move forward. And that's how I got into the coaching part of it.
And the way you solve problems, I can just see you in a coaching environment that is so beneficial to your clients that I'm sure that you really, really, really help change those people's lives for the better. And I want to tell you congratulations and the absolute best to you in that coaching and in your book, in your public speaking. You speak about topics like dementia, women empowerment, and positive mental attitude. All of these things have everything to do with the mind.
Yes.
So, and I also noticed even in our Toastmaster meetings, when you speak, even if it was comedy, because you are a fantastic humorous speaker too, by the way. You guys, she is hilarious. She is so funny. But it all deals with the choice and how your mind is. You know what I mean? Like you choosing to do things in a healthier way versus people who are choosing more debilitating ways. So in your topics, in mental attitudes and positive thinking, and you go like on both spectrums. You talk about the positivity, the positiveness and women empowerment, but then you also speak about things like dementia. So in what places have you spoken about these various topics at?
What places? I spoke in several community centers. I spoke at my church. I spoke at a women's group, a women's seminar. And I spoke at another event that we were having. And then I spoke at several community events in the community. And when I spoke at those events, and depending on who I was speaking to, I always try to do some form of encouragement because I never really realized that people don't really have confidence within themselves. There are so many people that really don't believe in themselves. And it's kind of like you want them to really believe in themselves because you can see that they do have the potential. You can see they have the strength. You can see they have the skills, but they just need to be developed. And it's already there. And so if I can just give them some encouragement, some words of positivity-ness to move forward and to put in their mind that they can do it, it is amazing. It is just so amazing that without public speaking, I may have been in the same boat also, not believing in myself, but I think that really helped me with my confidence. And when I go out and speak, I want everyone to have that feeling that they can do something with their life, that they can change it, but it's up to them. You can give them all the tools, but they have to use the tools that you give them. And so that's what my messages are all about. And even people that do have dementia or taking care of people with dementia, they need to have a positive outlook on this illness because the illness can be very daunting on family members. but there is a positive side about it. You get to spend more time with your loved ones. You get to see them and hear them do some funny things that you never thought that they would say or that they would do. And you take those things and they're nuggets that you can build upon, and you can continue to help you to grow through what you're going through. And it's all in the mindset. If you get your mind right, you can deal with a lot of things that you think you can't, but you have to believe in yourself, and you have to have the confidence within yourself to know that you can do these things. And it all starts within the mind.
Thank you so much for sharing that. When you mentioned dementia, and when you mentioned like watching what the person with these mental incapacities like dementia, that you can see them, they make it fun. I was thinking about, I immediately thought about my uncle. And if you remember, I had lost my Uncle Joe a few years back, and he had dementia. So my mother kept my uncle because I had other family members who were primarily responsible for taking care of him, but they definitely needed a break. So my mom volunteered to watch him for a few days. And while my mom was at work, my son was at the house watching over his great uncle, and my uncle is watching television. So I think what happened was, because my son called and told me what happened, and I'm thinking, oh my God. First off, my son has ADHD, and he's autistic with Asperger's syndrome. So they don't even use that term anymore, but he's high functioning. But still, at the same time, social cues, my son isn't well with that. So I'm like, oh my God, my son over there trying to watch Uncle Joe. And he called me and he was like, Mom, Uncle Joe was sitting over here watching television. And then all of a sudden he just burst out, sit down, B. Well, he didn't say B, he said the other word. And it kind of started my son, and my son just kind of looked like, I can see how he looked because I know how my son's behavior is, but he's telling me over the phone. Then he said, Mom, I just started looking at him strangely. My head went to tilted like, Uncle Joe, are you okay? And then he started laughing. My initial response was, oh no, oh my God, did you handle it right, Kevin? Are you okay? But honey, Kevin was just fine. He was giggling. He was laughing at Uncle Joe because he found my uncle's response comical.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Kevin, you just keep watching him and let him enjoy himself watching TV. Make sure he don't go outside because he'll get lost. But yeah, that it was a choice. And my son, which I'm very proud of, to say that he made the choice to look at it comically versus getting nervous, especially with him having a high functioning Asperger's spectrum, that he didn't go left. So I was really blessed to hear. I'm like, okay.
That's good. That's good.
But yes. I also laughed too, because I could just see my uncle just going in on the TV, fussing at the TV. That was just funny. So it's still choice.
Yes.
It is still choice.
It is.
And if we could just all choose a more healthier way and choosing to look at things in a better light, the better our minds, regardless of what our situations are, and the choosing different modalities to increase it. Like in your case, you said running. Yes. Running and exercises was what helped. Like if just meditation just wasn't doing it alone, your running was a added thing to help you along with that. So Linda, you are magnificent. You did such a super fantastic job. I want to thank you so much for being here on the MeMyddleton show. And if you can, although I do have a list of all of your ways of contacting you, can you please let our audience know how they can reach you, how they can get your book, and anybody that want any coaching services, websites, let it rip. Tell everybody how to
yes. And I thank you for having me on your show today. Yeah, they can locate me at Linda L. Buckley 1188 at gmail.com. And they can order my book at www.MeMyddleton.com. problemsolvebook.com. And they can also give me a call at 404-376-7540. And they can find me on Facebook at Linda Buckley at Facebook. And my Instagram is lbuckley1188. And it is a pleasure being here today with you, Miss Evina, on the MeMyddleton show. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed today.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how wonderful it is to have you. I can't wait to have you back again if you so choose to come back on the show.
I will glad to come back on your show. Yes.
Thank you again, Linda. I want you to have a super fantastic day. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me, and have a fantastic day.